Hi and welcome to the next episode of our TecTalk Aftermarket podcast here from the show floor at Automechanica Frankfurt. In our next session we have two guests at once, and I'm very, very grateful that they took the time, because I know they had a very busy day so far, took the time to introduce themselves and also what they are doing at Mann+Hummel to our audience. It's Hasmeet Kaur and also Cedric Dackam, who are both new at Mann+Hummel in new leading roles, and I'm really, really happy that you join us today.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having us here.
And first of all, for our audience, as I also said already, you are new in both of your roles. Could you give us a little introduction about yourself and what are you doing at Mann+Hummel?
Sure. So I'm Hasmeet Kaur, and I joined Mann+Hummel a month ago. 1st of August was my starting date, and my role is the president of the transportation division. Within transportation in Mann+Hummel, we have the automotive aftermarket, the OE business for passenger cars, heavy duty, and all industrial applications. Before joining Mann+Hummel, I worked for over a decade in the consulting industry with a pretty strong focus on the aftermarket and auto suppliers. And so it feels like coming home, and very excited to start this new journey.
So you were changing sides.
Yes, absolutely. Coming to the real world.
Very nice. Yes. How about you, Cedric?
I'm with Mann+Hummel for about 22 years. I've been at the very beginning focusing on engineering business, where I spent about 10 years. And the last 10 years I was basically on the sales on general management side of the automotive aftermarket. So for me, being with Mann+Hummel with 22 years give me the experience that required to lead the team that I'm doing now since August 1st as the head of automotive aftermarket for Mann+Hummel. I'm really excited to come back. Actually, I was out of the automotive aftermarket for 2 years to lead our water division, and now I'm coming back to where I believe I belong. It's very exciting.
So that's very nice. So it's like the automotive aftermarket, and you know it because you dealt with the topic before a lot. It's like a trap. Once you're in, it's very hard to get out.
Exactly.
Absolutely, yes.
And the appointments of the both of you, how does it play in this overall new strategy Mann+Hummel is having? Because you also mentioned the name. It's now called Transport Division. So what's the strategy behind it?
So the transportation division is structured in a way to bring together all of the elements of our business that have synergies with each other. So anybody that's in the automotive aftermarket understands that the journey of the aftermarket starts with the OE business.
Yes.
And as we are moving into a new mobility-focused world and moving away from these distinctions and the different steps of the value chains, new OEMs are currently integrating value chains and are playing in all aspects of the industry. There are a lot of synergies also for us from a supplier side, where we have to think of our approach to market in a vehicle life cycle standpoint from the beginning till the very end. And I think what excites me tremendously to work with Cedric in this new setup is that you also heard that in our introduction, that we are perfectly complementary to each other.
It is.
So Cedric brings a wealth of knowledge about Mann+Hummel, but also about the filtration industry. And I, having seen a few companies outside and having a very good pulse of what's happening in the industry, which is beyond filtration, and how we can work together to make Mann+Hummel ready for the future, I believe we are very well equipped to do that.
Yes, totally. And that's what I wanted to ask, because you are perfectly complementary to each other. You know the business inside out. She brings in some new and fresh ideas. So how was it for you when you heard that she's coming in? Have you been excited?
I really embrace that, because being 22 years in the company, as you said, I have a very good understanding of what is required at Mann+Hummel to grow. I have the understanding of the inside business of Mann+Hummel, but we have in the transformation phase of the aftermarket, and having a new view of the aftermarket with all the experience that Hasmeet bring from an industry and being capable to assess a different segment, not only the filtration, will give us the chance to think outside the box and reinvent the aftermarket at Mann+Hummel. Obviously, we are the leader in filtration, and to remain the leader, you have to reinvent yourself every day.
Yes.
And I really see, I'm looking really forward for you, Hasmeet, to help us really to change our mindset and really push more and more on market share growth in the region, not only in Europe as we are today, but everywhere in the world.
Plus, it's a lot of fun to work together. So that's the cherry on the cake.
Yeah, and that's also the impression I got when we did
Yes.
our prep talk before our session today, that you really click together.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And being appointed just recently, so where do you set your focus points at the beginning?
I think what's very clear for me that in this transformation journey, the one core focus point that we need to have is on the customer. So absolute customer centricity.
Yes.
And when I think about customer centricity, there are three aspects related to it. The first is how do we make the life of our customers convenient? And convenience is a lot around our portfolio, our service orientation, the solutions that we are providing.
Yeah.
The second aspect of building that customer centricity is around reliability and trust. And that's where we want to be playing in Champions League when it comes to all sorts of operational topics. And the last but not the least is to be competitive. We all have to make money. And there I'm a strong believer of the fact that with digitalization and artificial intelligence, which is very close to my heart, will play a key role in enabling us on how we can do so much more with the same. Right? So these are, in a nutshell, my focus areas, and everything falls into place around it.
Yes, and I totally agree, because in the end you can have various visions and mission statement, and we know them all, we've seen them all, but in the end it's about customer value. You know, your customer needs to feel an additional value he's having by making the purchasing decision for your products.
Yes.
And this is how you can expand and how you can grow your business.
Yeah. I totally agree with Hasmeet. The customer should be at the center of our strategy. And the first action that I would like to focus on is how I can ease the way to do business for our customer. And it starts with the journey of digitalization as well, to provide platform from our customer to simplify the way to trade with them and also to grow the business. Internally also, it's not about the external customer, but our internal customer as well. So we have really to listen to all markets, our shareholders, our stakeholders, and make sure that everyone really is a part of this journey. And obviously, digitalization is one of the key aspects that we have to focus on.
Also, as you said, Mann+Hummel as a leading company in your field, also a global company. There are also focus areas on certain regions. Mm-hmm.
Cedric, I let you answer that.
Well, I mean, as a global player, we want to be playing a role everywhere where it is required.
Yeah.
And obviously, everywhere in the world, there's a need for filtration. So obviously, we are leader in Europe. We are also very important in US. And very important to us is to make sure that we support our customer and maintain our leadership position in those markets. We see a potential to grow in Asia Pacific, which is a really growing market. If you look at the car population, people don't really believe that, but in Asia you have 3 times more car that you will see in Europe today.
Yes.
And it's a growing market, so we have to be capable to understand that the requirement in aftermarket in those regions are totally different, and we have to develop a specific strategy to cope with the demand of this market as well.
Yeah.
And with the market, the global market is moving towards alternative fuels in the future. What challenges, but also opportunities does this bring for Mann+Hummel as a company?
Right. I think what is clear is from the point of view of passenger cars, right?
Yes.
So we have to segment the market.
Yeah.
For passenger cars, there's definitely certain products which will not require filtration anymore.
Yeah.
And that is a bit of a trend which can be a threat to the business of filtration. On the other hand, there is also a very clear movement towards breathing clean air, which is a fundamental need of the world. And in that, cabin air filtration, for instance, will play a very important role.
Yeah.
And the alternative fuel, movement it's also coming differentially in different regions.
Yeah.
So we have to focus on how we can keep catering to the OEMs and the local vehicle park, depending on how these alternative fuels are entering the market. For instance, in the vehicle park, for the next 15 to 20 years, we will not see a big difference
No.
and the impact on our market.
No.
On the heavy duty side, when you think about hydrogen,
Yes.
it's a huge opportunity, and we as Mann+Hummel are totally equipped. We have some pioneering solutions in the space of fuel cells, and we actually look forward to that change in that space as well.
Yes, totally. And talking about customer value, what's also important is being close to your customer.
Yes.
Do you have any initiatives getting closer to the actual workshops?
Well, actually, this is a very good point that you bring, because at the end, the decision maker are the workshops, right?
Yeah.
They are the one deciding the type of product, the type of service that we want to provide to them. We don't only sell product, but we sell service. And I think it's even more important to make sure that at the end, we understand the workshop needs and make sure that we respond to the expectation. So I agree with you. Being close to those workshops are very important. We have developed also a lot of loyalty programs to motivate our customer, to work with us. We make sure that we are providing with training to understand how to market the product, but how to replace them, right? Because important is we don't just want to make sure that they are buying a product. We want to make sure they're making the right choice.
Yeah.
So that's why make sure that they understand exactly the value of the product that you are buying. This is why we are very close to them. We have sales rep all over the place in the world, following our workshop, making sure that they have the right training. We make sure that they are coming also to our location. We have a lot of garages coming to our production plant to understand exactly how we produce a product and the value of having those products in the market.
I think one initiative is with ProPoints, and it's a collaborative loyalty program with ZF, Hella, and Nitera, and we are also a part of it, and Clarios.
Yeah.
And that is clearly one of the, amongst many other missions, one of the key initiatives we have in Germany and expanding to the rest of Europe.
Another trend we are seeing is that OEMs, vehicle manufacturers, are trying to expand or are already expanding into the aftermarket. Some of them with very sound strategies.
Yes.
Do you see this also as a threat, or is it just what you mentioned? Because you need to be, and you as Mann+Hummel, you want to be competitive, and you say, that's fine, I take up this challenge.
Yeah.
Because in the end, having a more competitive market makes me also a better company.
Absolutely. And I think that's where our transportation strategy comes into play, right? Whether if a filter is being sold, irrespective of the channel, it is our responsibility to provide the best product to the market. So when the OEMs are selling also in the after-sales segment filters, we are happy to be their supplier. And when the segment becomes unattractive for OEMs because the vehicle park is older, the customer behavior is more competitive, price sensitive, we are also fully prepared to deal in the independent aftermarket. So actually from our standpoint, it's a win-win for us in both cases.
Yes, I'd agree. And another very important or omnipresent topic within the last years is the sustainability topic. And I think you could argue that the automotive aftermarket kind of is the first mover, which is not often the case in the public sense. But the automotive aftermarket, for me, by definition, is a sustainable industry, because in the end, our task is to keep cars longer on the road. So what are your current ambitions or initiatives regarding sustainability?
Well, if you look at our mission statement, which is to remove the harmful from the useful, by definition is a sustainability element, right? We want to make this world a cleaner world, which is required. So this is the mission of Mann+Hummel, right? On top of that, very important is also, what do you do with the waste, right? You have at the end, when you use the filters to bring into the waste, and what we are trying to do is also developing green filtration products to make sure that at the end, the products that we have are more environmental friendly. So I think that Mann+Hummel has really a mission related to look at the sustainability elements that you see also defined by the UNICEF. Also, not only about the product, but how do we also work as a company diversity is part of the sustainability aspect. We are working a lot on also making sure that we are working on education. We are making sure that we are training also the people that are working with the complete ecosystem. So we are really committed as a company to be more sustainable in terms of product, service, and process that we have in place.
Yes, and I think specifically in the aftermarket, everyone is having their sustainability initiatives, but I feel from talking to the people that they really walk the talk. So the companies really mean it. And I also think that a part of it, of course, is legally driven.
Yeah.
But I guess there's also opportunity. There's business opportunity in becoming more sustainable, and I guess this is the right way to get this mindset also within the organization, that it's not just because we have these legal obligations we have to fulfill, but because we see it as an opportunity also to grow our business.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, this is our mission as a company.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have to realize though that every solution will be accepted if it's competitive in the market. So that's a prerequisite that also we work with, that it shouldn't be just a legal obligation, but it has to make business sense. And if you do it right, it does make business sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And coming to the end of our session today, we always take a look into the future, into the near future, looking like 5 to 10 years ahead. Cedric, with your experience across various sectors, where do you see the biggest growth opportunities for the automotive aftermarket, both geographically but also in terms of product innovation?
In terms of geography, I think that Asia Pacific, Middle East Africa region, with also the growth of population, is probably the region providing the biggest opportunity for Mann+Hummel. And we are also committed to that. On top of that, in terms of innovation, we will not talk only about innovation about product, but innovation about service, as I mentioned before.
Yeah.
We are committed to provide the best service solution in filtration so that our customer can probably increase also their value in terms of supply chain, but also in terms of service themselves. So this is where I see more innovation coming from Mann+Hummel. In terms of product, we want to make more environmental friendly product, which is extremely important, but also in terms of performance. How could we improve the performance by having efficient also price positioning for our customer, because we can not ignore the fact that pricing is also becoming an aspect, but we want at the same time to cope with the challenge of the pricing while keeping also the innovation at the highest level, performance-wise.
Yes, and you, Hasmeet, you emphasize innovational technologies like AI, smart mobility, you mentioned it before.
Right.
How do you plan to integrate that into the Mann+Hummel within the next years? Where is your vision regarding these topics?
I believe that AI is going to be a key game changer, especially for the B2B industry going forward, right? We are living in a world which is so complex, right? If I only look at aftermarket, that's one of the multiple businesses that I'm responsible for. Cedric's customer base out there is over 1 billion vehicles, only passenger car, right? The data that is out there is unbelievable. And we have no excuse anymore to not have it, right? And with AI, I think it gives us an opportunity to get access to data, to get access to information, both what is outside the organization, but very importantly, what's inside. There's a common saying in the AI world that if organizations knew what they knew, we would be living in a completely different world and we would be operating at a next level of efficiency.
Yes,
and
totally.
For me, that's absolutely key before we start anything. And Cedric, I'm so glad that he sees it the same way, that AI is going to play a key role in data management, improvement of processes, both internal as well as external.
No, totally. I guess also AI can enable us, because usually like looking in the rearview mirror is way easier than through the windshield. But with AI, I guess also our vision towards the future can get much clearer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We are coming to an end of our session. Thank you guys very, very much again for taking the time. I guess it was a really, really nice conversation also for our viewers.
Yes, thank you very much.
It was a pleasure having you in our Tech Talk.
Thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much for having us here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you very
you.
much. Bye-bye.